Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Roast here with Jessica Bun Bun. This is our review and reaction to Fallout Season 1, Episode 8, the finale. Are you not entertained? You might as well just like take my brain out, put it in one of those little robots, because I could just express this feeling forever. Just like moving around through the vault, being like, this is a great finale. I had so much
Yeah.
fun. I love this finale.
You're just a brain Roomba with a needle.
Okay, listen.
Stand still.
One, that was hilarious.
Listen, the humor on this show is
Yeah.
so good. It is so spot on.
Yeah, and like, we've said throughout all of this, like we've played some Fallout games. I haven't played any beyond Fallout 4. So to me, when I saw that robot, it was just a reference to like the Far Harbor DLC. There's a wonderful like murder mystery sort of storyline involving those robots. I was so delighted, but I was so delighted by most of the finale. I think, yes, there's probably some controversial stuff in here that's going to stir discussion on the interwebs.
It absolutely already has. We've seen some of it here at our channel in the comments. We've seen it around. Some people really are enjoying it, and some people are not enjoying some of the really big reveals, like Vault-Tec. And of course, there are spoilers ahead in this video, so buckle up.
Yeah. All right. And there's only one thing I didn't like in this finale, by the way. And
Oh.
this is very similar, by the way, to my one thing I did not like in the True Detective Night Country finale. If you watch the greater Matt and Jess TV extended universe, you may kind of get a vibe from that. But all right. If you guys are enjoying this video, join our Patreon. We've got a link in the description below. We have live streams about Fallout every week. We want you guys to be a part of them, and it's a great way to support us and what we do here at the channel.
Yes, and thank you to everyone who has been supporting us through Patreon. It means a lot to us.
Okay.
Okay, what's your beef? Let's put on our beef hat.
Okay, we're doing the beef right away.
Yeah, let's just go into the beef. I'm very curious because I remember that you were not a fan of time as a flat circle in the finale of True Detective. So what is it here?
Stop trying to make okie dokie happen. I'm over it. I'm so over it. It worked okay as a catchphrase once or twice earlier on in the show. Like I know this is the tiniest of nitpicks, but it was that one moment in the finale where it took me right out of it, where it's just like, okay, you're not gonna say okie dokie in this moment. You're just gonna say okay. Like I've said okie dokie maybe 10 times in my life. Every time I've said it has been about okie dokie, I'll go get the wheelbarrow. Okie dokie, I'll go pick up a grocery from the store. It's always minute tasks, not okie dokie, I'm going to go and try to, save the future of humanity.
Yeah, no, I think it would have been a really great time to show this evolution of Lucy, of where we first met her, and everything was okie dokie, living in the vault. Everybody's polite and kind, and everything is, great and bright-eyed and positive. To have her by the end of this realizing that everything she thought was a lie, memories that she had that she thought were in the vault were actually in the real world with her mom. Her father's not who he said he was. Everything is just not where it is. That by the time we're in this situation where she's like, okie dokie, to go along with the ghoul, I think it would have been a good time for her to just say, okay, to sort of see that evolution, that she's kind of in the middle now of like living that vault lifestyle, but she's also here now.
I think it would have been a nice moment for evolution. Yes, we had a lot of other evolutionatory moments, if that's a word, over the course of this season. But, that is small potatoes, I think, compared to the big, shocking, exciting stuff. Like, for me, I really liked how the show handled the reveal in this world of, oh yeah, by the way, it's Vault-Tec who really is responsible for staging all of this and working to make these profits. Because, number one, great satire on capitalism, how much certain organizations will go to make money. To the point where you're destroying the entire future of the planet for the sake of your own future yourself. Like, it was really dark, really well played, though, well explained. Once again, everything with Walton Goggins, our boy, and the flashbacks really paying off.
Yes, I mean, him listening in on the conversation that his wife Barb was having with sort of the heads of all these other tech companies and what she was offering to him and to them, and seeing his face on it just drop as he like realizes that she's not going to step in and sort of stop everything that's going on at this table and be the voice of reason, the kind voice of reason that he knows. That instead she's basically like, listen, we're going to be the people to end the world, and we at this table will be the only players left. We will be a monopoly on this, and how we'll do this is you'll get a section of vaults, you'll get a section of vaults, and you'll get a section of vaults, and you guys can do whatever you want with the people that are in your vaults to be able to sort of see how you can sort of repopulate the world or do as you please with them. And hearing some of the things that they were coming up with, I mean, my face was just falling to the ground like Coop's was. It was just shocking, some of the things that they were saying that they were going to do to the people in these vaults.
It was as close to a Fallout Squid Game crossover, I think, as we're ever going to get, where, they're just going to do whatever they want with these people for the sake of their own pleasure. But it's a great reveal that kind of dovetails into everything you see across the Fallout universe in general, because you go to these different vaults in the games, and even in this show with Vault 4 and all of the insanity that was going on there, every vault is different. And this is a great explanation as to the reason why, and it gets into the greed and the way that these people function. I really, really like how that was set up, and I think it does kind of further along the infinite possibilities that exist here. Beyond all that, though, here's a good tinfoil hat question I have after all of this.
All right.
So we know that Mr. Ghoul, aka Cooper, had his ability to listen in on this conversation, and after, hearing that his wife was not exactly willing to stop any of this that was going on, understandably, he could be upset. Now, we know that he was not in a vault. He's been out there. He's become a ghoul, but specifically near the end of the episode, he asked, where's his family? He's trying to find his family. He didn't just say his daughter. He said his family. So is that an indicator that he's forgiven Barb on some level, or does he just want revenge on Barb and, he wants to be with his daughter, and that's sort of what he's angling for?
That's what it feels like it could be going into a season 2. I mean, he did very specifically say family, and I think he's got a good idea after even just listening in on that conversation. We don't know what the fallout of that conversation is going to be, probably obviously until next season or season after. We don't know how long they're going to drag that out, but because we don't really know how that conversation went, or if he decided to sort of run off with their daughter, or what was going on, I think he has a good idea that Barb is safe, that she went into the management vault, into the good vault, as she was calling it, and that she is out there somewhere. And with Norm going into Vault 31, we know that people were cryoed, and that's how Buds oh my goodness, I feel like an idiot even saying that. Buds were all cryoed, and they're all part of Vault 31. They're all part of this management team that was going on back at Vault-Tec, and every time they need an overseer or somebody who really knows what's going on with Vault-Tec, they will, unfreeze somebody and send them on in, and that is where Hank is from.
Yeah, and once again, they played that out, I think, really, really well. The only part I was getting a little bit frustrated about is we had the Moldaver, Lucy, Hank confrontation scene where Moldaver is explaining everything that's going on to Lucy, all these details.
With her mom sitting at the table as a feral ghoul.
It was so heartbreaking.
It really was.
It was played so well, but the only thing that Hank kept saying was just she's lying. She's lying. And I was just sitting back being like, okay, Hank, you had to have known the moment you were captured that you could have come to this moment and, your whole past could have been exposed. It's could you not have come up with some sort of side story to explain why she's lying, what actually happened, even if what you're going to say is a lie? If I'm just looking at this as, you're some sort of attorney in the court of law here. You did not have much of a defense for anything that she was saying. You were just like, she's lying. Okay, great. That's not exactly a lot of information you're giving here, buddy.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised. I was a little surprised he didn't go more into the angle that he did later, which
Yeah.
was sort of, we're all the good guys on our side. We all think we're doing the right thing in this world where everybody's doing a lot of bad things to do the right thing. Sort
Yeah.
of like the Brotherhood. They think they're the heroes. Moldaver, she thinks she's the hero. The Vault and Vault-Tec, they think they're the heroes. Like, everybody thinks that they're doing the right thing, but they know that they have to do bad things to do the right thing. And I think that that argument that he had later could have been the better argument he had earlier that might have gotten her attention, but probably not. You've got her mother as a feral ghoul sitting right there. It's a little bit like, what are you going to say at this point that's going to make her actually want to care what you have to say?
Yeah, it's very hard to mount any sort of defense when you have that right there in front of you. He got, in a lot of ways, what he deserved at the end of all of this. Like, the thing is, this show, time and time again, it goes back to something in the earlier episodes. Everyone seems to think that they have the plan for the future of humanity, and everyone thinks they're the hero of their own story. And in reality, in the world of Fallout, there's no heroes. You're just trying to survive. You're just trying to do whatever you want to do. And typically the people who are trying to establish some sort of society, they're usually the bad ones because they have some sort of ulterior motive. Like, come together, everybody, so I can experiment on you and do terrible things.
Well, now we're in this very interesting part of the story going into the next season where Moldaver is gone. She's dead now, but she was able to activate this cold fusion, and all of a sudden we saw all these lights going on. Things are changing, and, you know, she was the person who was really behind everything that was happening at Shady Sands and New California. And, you know, it was a thriving place. And she was telling the story that how Lucy and Norm's mom, Rose, had brought them there, that she figured out that something was wrong with the vault, that there was life above ground. She took the kids, went out, and sure enough, here's New California, and it is thriving. They've got trolleys, they got food, they got lights, like everything is great. And then Hank figures out what's going on, goes out, burns this city to the ground. This is what happens to Maximus as well, takes the kids back. So now that Moldaver's like, okay, I've got this cold fusion. This is something I was working on, that Vault-Tec took over. I've got it. I'm going to be able to sort of rebuild. Now that she's dead, the people who are left standing with it are the Brotherhood of Steel, who are the people that I am the least behind.
Yeah.
I really like Maximus, but the rest of them I'm really out on. But they're all sort of like, you know, cheering him as a champion, that he's the person that took down Moldaver, and now they have the cold fusion. It's everything. It is Knight Maximus. And it's really an interesting spot that he's in, because it really felt like, and I think it still does, that he wants to leave that lifestyle. He's ready to go and be in the vault with Lucy and live in his robe and eat his popcorn, have a hot shower. He's really tired of this. But now he's sort of in this position where even the higher ups are like, yeah, we know you're a liar, but you're also really loyal to us, and we think that we can maybe rebuild a brand new brotherhood with you.
Yeah.
And now that he's like in possession of the cold fusion and Moldaver's dead and he's the one, it's like, what is he gonna choose going into this next spot?
Yeah, he's the reluctant king, if you will. And I know he's not really the king, but it would sort of be like somebody just like came to me and was like, okay, we want you to be president now. And I'm just like, I don't want to do that. I want to sit at home and eat popcorn and watch TV
No, thank you.
and do all this. But it's just a situation where he's in a very reluctant spot of leadership. It's going to be very fun seeing how he navigates that, especially with this cold fusion, which, if I had to guess, if I had to just sort of like crawl my way into like brains of Fallout super fans, I think this is probably the twist they're the most upset about coming out of all of this, because I think we've all grown accustomed to a certain aesthetic from the universe. And my response to this is that I understand It is very fun to burn tens of hours, like putting up generators and trying to build towns and all this other stuff that I
My
do.
water
Yeah,
farm.
Jess's water farm, me running out of resources halfway through building, and I'm just stuck with it. But things have
That's
to.
why you need a water farm, so you can just buy like a whole bunch of steel and wood.
I need that, and I need PlayStation to allow better mods so that I can cheat and just build however much I want. But anyway, I just think in general, things have to evolve in a world like this. And yeah, sure, it's possible they could set another game, prior to the events of the show and just kind of find their way out of dealing with this. But I think they should embrace it. Also, just because one cold fusion thing is out there, like this is not going to power the entire country.
Well, here's the thing too, is like Moldaver had seemingly bigger plans to help people and grow different towns and cities and whatever with this.
Yeah.
She's gone. This is now in the hands of the Brotherhood. And we know how the Brotherhood is rolling. It's for them and for nobody else. They're, in this shield of we're helping people. But I mean, we saw them take over Philly and be like, plant their flag. And like, this is our base now. They just keep taking over other people's towns, cities, bases, whatever they feel like becomes theirs. We know that they have like certain different groups of people and factions like the ghouls or whatever that they're just like, nah, we just don't, we'll just take them all out. We just don't like them. We're not helping them. Like, they're not the greatest people. So for them actually to be the people in possession of this, they're not going to share it. They're not going to have this be like, you know what we could really do? We could really generate cities and get people to get. No, they're not doing any of that. So going into season 2, I don't think that's going to be that much different of a landscape because of the people who are in charge of this now.
Yeah.
They're not going to share.
No, maybe they'll build up their own sort of like pseudo empire and be more powerful, but that could also create some fun stakes of its own. I think I really just like the confidence that, Jonathan Nolan and all the producers were like, you know what, we're going to make this show and we're just going to be like, you know what, Prime Video, you guys have billions of dollars. You can make more of us. We ain't tying together anything. And there's so many interesting questions now. I mean, just starting with everything with Vault 33 and Vault 32 now, where those groups are kind of split up. We understand more about the creation of them. Lucy understands more about the creation of them, but at the same time, she's got this other mission right now where she's trying to follow Hank, who the ghoul intentionally left alive, to wherever, the quote unquote home base for whatever else is. Like, is she going to be able to go down there and tell everybody, or are they just going to be left to their own devices for who knows how long while she's dealing with this other stuff?
Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, she's really on this adventure to get like real deep answers at this point. She's willing to go with the ghoul, who they seemingly have a bit more of a back and forth respectful relationship at this point, and I say that word very loosely. It's better than where it was, where he was selling her for drugs and using her as bait, where it seems like it's a little more on, we're gonna be companions, we're gonna go through this together to get to this end goal and then go in our separate ways, but we both have answers and your father has them, so let's track him and figure out who's really the biggest bad behind all of it. Big bad Barb is what I think is still going on. I think, especially after hearing her at that meeting, I mean, woof, she's a baddie. So I think that she is still the person who's in charge of a lot of this. We don't really know why Moldaver still looks exactly the same 200 years later. They never really explained it. I had originally thought maybe she had been cryoed because she was a scientist and that they were gonna maybe bring her back later if they needed her. Nothing was really explained. I'm just gonna assume that maybe she's part ghoul or something and that's how she's been able to get through it. But I'm also gonna assume that there's something that's gone on with Barb that's been able to keep her, keeping on for all this time, and that she's not just a brain on a Roomba going around trapping poor Norman there. Listen. Did anybody else in there, when he was looking through that list of names, be looking for Barb? Because I was looking for Barb. She's not on the list.
No, I was looking for Barb.
I was like,
too.
Oh my goodness, is she on this list?
Yeah, I was hoping you got a good look at it too, because my vision ain't great, and I was just like, is she there?
No, she's not.
No, but I think she's clearly still out there. I said this in the last video. I really like your idea that she is sort of the big bad behind all of this, because the world's more compelling if we already know the characters who are involved. Sure, you can bring in some new people in season 2, but
Mhm.
to have it be an established adversary, that just builds up the stakes, and it also makes it so that the Ghoul has a lot more going on. The other interesting question now at this point is, Lucy's not going to know very much here about what's going on with Maximus at
Mhm.
this point because of when she left him. How are they going to get back to each other? Because I'm going to presume that they will, and how much will they sort of change along the way?
That's the thing, right? Like, I mean, Maximus has been looking for a place where he feels like he belongs. And for a little while, he was feeling like maybe he could belong in the vault. Like I
Yeah,
said, he loves his hot showers and his popcorn, and he's, really enjoying his relationship with Lucy. And I think that that could be a place for him if they're able to kind of get real truth behind it out there and make some changes to it, because it obviously can't just stay the same as like Vault-Tec's weird experiment on people to do whatever they want. Like it can
yeah.
still be a functioning society based on honesty of what is actually going on in these vaults. But now that he's in this position where everyone's like, all hail Maximus, the knight, you're the king of it all. Is this enough that's going to be like, man, this is what I've been looking for this whole time. I've been looking for acceptance from the Brotherhood, of everything that happened. And I don't know if he's going to want to let that go.
I think eventually we might build towards a spot where these two characters are together and happy and in some sort of peace. But that's the series finale, people. That's like 5 or 6 seasons down the road. Yeah, I could see.
5 or 6 seasons. I like the way you're
Yeah,
thinking.
I don't want to stop at season 2. I'm having too much fun,
This
and
world is so
yeah,
big. Like they could have all kinds of adventures going on.
yeah, and I think what they did that was really, really good as well throughout this season is, yeah, they gave a lot of Easter eggs for the video games,
Yeah.
even in the finale. You saw a nod to Robco, you saw the Hollywood sponsored by Nuka-Cola
Yeah.
sign at one point, but they continue to sprinkle things in. And this is even just with only playing a certain amount of games, there's so many different things and people and groups that were not even brought up at all in this season that, maybe they never will, but maybe those are things they're intentionally saving for more. So the potential in this world is outstanding. This finale, I think, was really, really outstanding. I did not think I had on my nerd rage glasses ready to go into all of this being like, well, it's not as good for this reason, they desecrated the games. But no, it's just really, really good. I think they honored them.
Yeah, I think in general, but this is just me, and I'm on an island with a lot of this because I know that there's a lot of people that will compare them to the games and always want to compare like shows to books or movies to the books
Yeah.
or whatever. Oh, it's not as good because it's not this and it's not that and whatever. It's a completely different medium to me. So the game is the game, and you get to have that story with the game. The show is the show, and yeah, they've had some reveals on it, like Vault-Tec is behind the end of the world and everything that happened that, we don't have in the game and whatever. I am fine with that because
Yeah.
for me, I look at the game as just the game, and then I look at the show as just the show, and it's telling me a different story. I don't want to
Mhm.
watch a show that is just a complete mirror of something I already played. Like, then
Yeah.
what is the purpose of this? Why am I watching this? I already played it. I want to see some things that are different.
Yeah. And this show has provided that in a way that also just allows us to have a heck of a lot of fun. And
Oh, so fun.
let's
What a great first season. Next time, please, Prime Video,
yeah.
once a week. This does not need to be all dropped at once.
Yeah.
Like, I'm already missing this show. It's been out like a
I
minute.
know, and it is frustrating because it causes a lot of stuff to blend together. And
Yeah.
I think this show deserved a little bit more time in the spotlight than it's going to get. I hope people discover it over time. I think we're both pretty confident there will be more. I don't know why there wouldn't be.
Yeah.
So we'll just cross our fingers, hope for the best there. But thank you guys for being with us alongside this journey to the wasteland. Nuka-Colas for everyone. Also, thank you to our patrons for your support. You
Thank
can
you.
join our Patreon live streams all about Fallout every single week.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much. We'll see you here next time.